strong.
Hello everyone, welcome to Audio Bites. Oliver Twist, a novel by Charles Dickens. Here we are with episode 9. Let's get started. Nancy's sacrifice. The next morning Rose was sitting at her desk trying to decide whether to ask Harry Maylie or Dr. Losburn to help her. Her problem was solved when Oliver ran into the room with a big smile on his face. Rose, Mr. Brownlow's in London. I have got his address. Can we go and see him? Of course. Mr. Brownlow has helped Oliver before. I'm sure he'll know what to do, thought Rose. She stood up and smiled at Oliver. What a wonderful news. We will go at once. Soon Rose and Oliver arrived at Mr. Brownlow's house. The old man was delighted to see Oliver again, and listened as Oliver told him why he didn't come back with the books. Mrs. Bedwin cried tears of joy, and even Mr. Grimwig was pleased. Rose asked to speak to Mr. Brownlow in private. She told him about her conversation with Nancy, and a kind old man agreed to help her find Monks and make him share his father's money with Oliver. On Sunday night Fagin was at Bill Sykes' house. At 11 o'clock Nancy got ready to go out. Where are you going? I don't feel very well, Bill. I want some fresh air. Then put your head out of the window. No, I want to go for a walk outside. I have been in the house all day. Bill locked the door and put the key in his pocket. Now sit down. You're not going anywhere, my girl. Bill, let me go, just for 1 hour. Nancy was angry now. She began to shout and scream, and fought with Bill, trying to get the key, but it was no use. The fight went on for an hour, and then they heard the clock striking midnight. When she heard the sound, Nancy suddenly calmed down. She sat down on a chair and tears rolled down her pale face, but a few moments later she began to laugh. The two men looked at each other in surprise. What a strange girl she is. Take no notice of her, Bill. She'll be all right in a few minutes. Fagin said good night and got up to leave. As he walked home he thought about Nancy's strange behavior. I think Nancy's got a secret. Why did she want to go out tonight? Was she going to meet someone? I must find out where she goes and who she talks to. I will tell one of my boys to follow her. The following Sunday Bill was not at home. At 11 o'clock Nancy put on her hat and coat and went out. She looked up and down the street, and when she was sure it was empty, set off quickly towards London Bridge. She didn't notice a boy standing in a doorway, but he saw her and followed her silently, keeping in the shadows. It was a cold, dark night and few people were out. When Nancy reached London Bridge, she saw a carriage waiting at the side of the road. Inside were Rose and Mr. Brownlow. Nancy told them where they could find Monks, and then began to describe him. She didn't notice the boy who was hiding behind the carriage listening to every word she said. He's a tall, strong man. He's got dark hair and very deep-set eyes. He must be about 26, but he looks much older. On his neck is a red mark, like a burn? Cried Mr. Brownlow. Yes. Do you know him? I think I do. Thank you for helping us, said Rose. But please let us help you. Tell us the names of the thieves. Then the police will catch them all. We can give you some money and help you to start a new, honest life. Nancy shook her head. I can't betray the man I love. I have told you where to find Monks because I want to help Oliver, but I can't tell you any more. I don't know why, but I feel afraid tonight, and I want to get home quickly before anyone sees me here. Later that night Fagin sat in his cold room looking at the boy who was asleep on the floor. Fagin's face was pale and his eyes were red. He was biting his black nails and waiting for Bill Sykes. At last he heard heavy footsteps on the stairs. Bill came in, sat down and put a bag on the table. It was a difficult job, but we managed it at last. Then he noticed Fagin's expression. What's wrong? Nancy's betrayed us. If you don't believe me, ask that boy. He followed her tonight and... What? Bill shook the sleeping boy and listened to his story. Nancy. I will kill her for this. Before Fagin could stop him, Bill ran out of the house, cursing and swearing. Nancy was asleep when Bill got home. Get up. Bill, what is it? Why are you looking at me like that? You know very well. Where were you tonight? What did you do? He threw her across the room and picked up a heavy wooden stick. Nancy ran to him and held his arm. Bill, don't hurt me. We can go away and start a new life. Bill pushed her away from him, looked once into her eyes, then raised the stick and hit her on the head with all his strength. When the sun came up, Nancy was lying dead on the floor in a pool of blood. Bill lit a fire and burnt the stick, then tried to clean the blood off his clothes. Finally, he went out, locking the door behind him, and walked quickly away from the house. Here we come to the end of the episode 9. In case you have not heard to the audiobooks of the previous episodes, the link to them is right there in description. Also check out the link to the David Copperfield playlist in the same. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the rest of the episodes.